Yes, good morning once again. So today we are going to cover about categories of pastures. We have different types of pastures. We have grass pasture, pasture legumes, and different examples. You have them below there. Examples of pasture grasses. You have the Guinea grass. The botanical name is Panicum maximum. Then we have the rhoda grass, which is botanically known as Chloris kayayana. We have Congo signal grass, Brachyteria, Rositesis. So these are botanical names which easily differentiate them. We have elephant grass, which is Panaspanum, Pasparum. Okay. And then we have Chikuyu grass, Panasseram, Calandricham. Nandi grass, we have Secretaria, Assets, Thatch grass, Paspaceria rufa. Then the last one we have the star grass. We have the star grass, which we say the Sidon, Dactytum. So those are some of the grasses. So basically, in our next meeting, we shall be able to look into detail to see how they look like in reality. We also have examples of pasture legumes. We have green leaf desmodium, silver leaf desmodium, desmodium interatum, and then we have desmodium ultacinatum. Okay, there is stylo gralicis, stylothalmathus, and then it's glycine, we take it, and then we have centralis, which is botanically known as the centrosema, Pocenas. We have the lucerne, mitigaso, cichia, and then gloves. And then the last species we have here is the trifolium species. All these ones are legumes. For them, they don't grow tall as grass. They just remain on the ground. But we shall look at them in our next lesson. So what is the advantage of mixing this? What is the advantage of mixing? Advantage of mixing legumes in pastures. Why should we have grass and legume mixture? 1. Legumes fix nitrogen to the soil, hence improving soil fertility and other plant species. That is the beauty of including legumes in our pasture land. They show a high resistance to drought. Legumes show a high resistance to drought, hence can be relied on during the dry season. They increase the palatability of pasture. Palatability, the taste. When you are eating, you really feel comfortable. And then, since they are highly palatable, when they are present, the cow has the ability to also consume the grass because they act as appetizers. They reduce cases of bloat. Bloat is when the animal has too much gases in its rumen. So when you mix, this bloat can be caused maybe by too much of grass or too much of water. But when you mix up legumes and in this animal, they are not very succulent. Because when you mix up, there's minimal water found inside these feeds, the pasture. A good number of them have broad leaves, hence have ability to control soil erosion. So that is the beauty of including these pastures into the pasture land. The legumes supply protein to the animals which supplement the grass. The legumes supply protein to the animals which supplement the grass. So that is the beauty of including this. And then the other, they give long grazing period, hence they mature at different stages. Feeds are continuously produced because legumes take a short period of time to mature compared to leaves. Grass takes a long period of time to mature. And then the last one, which says they produce better quality and quantity of forage for the animals. The quantity is increased and of good quality. More is produced and of good quality. So basically, that's what we can talk about as advantages of those legumes. So how do we conserve the legumes, the herbage? How do you keep it for a long period of time? If we have our grasses, how would you keep the grasses to stay on your farm for a long period of time? We have two methods. Herbage can be conserved into two major ways, i.e., you can turn it into hay, you can turn it into silage. A person will ask, what is hay? Hay is dry grass. Okay, and let's look at the characteristics of this hay. Characteristics of good hay. Good hay should be leafy, should have a lot of leaves on it, and hence leaves are richer in food value. Don't look for stems only. When you get only stems, that one is not nutritious. Number two, should be prepared out of the herbage cut at the stage near flowering. If you are to harvest them, get them before flowering, or when they are about to flower. That's when they are very nutritious for our animals. Should be green in color, hence green color signifies vitamin A. As long as we have green color on our pasture, it means that we are assured of vitamin A. Should be free from dust and molds which reduce palatability. Should not be rotten and should not be having soil and dust because it reduces palatability. The animal will not enjoy it. Just like you, when you're eating rice and find stones, you will not be excited to continue eating such a meal. So the other is it should be soft and pliable for easy consumption by the animals. Should be soft, easy to transport, and it does not affect the digestive system of the animal. So that is the beauty of hay. It should be free from weeds and poisonous pests of plants. So make sure that there are no weeds and poisonous plants found inside the hay, because this can easily kill the animal. Should have a smell which is a characteristic of a plant. Should not change the smell. Should not start smelling something different from what the cows know. Okay, so it should remain the same scent, same smell, such that it is productive to the animals. And then it should be free from weeds, and that when you finish. And the moisture content of the hay should not exceed 15%. The moisture content should not exceed 15%. So this simply means that the moisture content is also important in that area. It should be there. So other factors affecting the quality. Factors affect the quality of hay. What makes hay unpalatable to the animals? the species of grass. For example, which type of grass have we used to make hay? Some grass species produce high quality hay, hence they can be easily turned and have nutrient content. There are some which are not nutritious. When they are given to animals, the animals don't enjoy them. And then storage. Poor storage of hay by protecting it from rain and sunlight. Proper storage of hay by protecting it from rain and sunlight helps to preserve the quality. Okay, so we have to make sure that number one, you get a good species. When you get a good species, make sure you store it properly. Stage of cutting the grass. Grass cut before flowering produces high quality hay than that. Sorry for that, my internet has disturbed a bit. So the stage of cutting is very important. Level of drying. Poorly dried hay becomes moldy, molds grow on it. And again, over-dried hay lacks vitamin A, so it's not good. It's not good for our animals because it's dry, unpalatable. How do we make hay? How we make the dry grass and put it at percentage, not less than, not exceeding 15%. Select a suitable plant species with high nutrient content to be used in the making of hay. Go and select the best. We have described some of them. The elephant grass. We have discussed about the rhoda grass. Select the one which is nutritive. And even other legumes. Harvest the plant species just before flowering when it contains a lot of nutrients. Get it when it has not yet flowered. Dry the hay to a moisture of about 15%, meaning you have to dry it under controlled situation. Don't just put it under the sun direct, at least put it inside a shade and you dry it from there. Tie the hay in bales and in ballets and prepare it for storage. After tie it and then make bales and you keep them. The hay should be stored in a place well protected from rain and sunlight to preserve the quality. Okay, to preserve the quality, you have to put it in a protected area. So that's how we prepare hay. And then the other is a silage or silage. How do you prepare silage? And what is silage? This is the herbage cut before flowering and converted into succulent feed through the process of fermentation. It can be made from any succulent green material such as sweet potato vines, young maize, sunflower, sorghum, young Guatemala grass, and elephant grass. The process of ensealing or making silage. Cut the grass when it is about to flower, and in case of the legumes, when they have formed pods, cut them before flowering or they are about. And if they are legumes, cut them when the pods are formed. Okay, when pods are formed, chop the grass into smaller pieces of about 4 centimeters long. You have to chop it, so you put it and cut it using a panga. Okay. You have to measure 4 centimeters. That can be easily packed. Pack the material in an airtight chamber or silo and compress it to exclude air. Okay, when you get your bag, for example, a cavera, these normal caveras, a very big one, and then you put in the pasture inside, the ones you have already collected, and you compress it, remove air out of it, and then add the fermentable water solution, carbohydrates like molasses, add some molasses, which produce energy to the microorganisms during fermentation process, because fermentation has to occur. Add urea at a rate of 5 kilograms per ton, so as to increase nitrogen content of the silage. So you have to add urea. When the silage chamber is full, seal it off from the atmosphere to exclude air and water. So you tie your cavera to avoid any other entry of water. Allow the material to ferment for at least 3 weeks. Okay, you keep the material there for 3 weeks, minus allowing air entering inside. You have to make sure that you monitor the temperatures in the silo. How do you monitor? Why should you? To ensure that proper fermentation is taking place. When temperatures drop, molasses should be added to provide energy. When it is too cold, make sure that you add some molasses to create energy. For molasses just act just like glucose. They give energy to the microorganism to carry out fermentation. After that, dig a trench around the silo to drain away runoff water. Remove the water which flows towards the silage. Just like you see people in rural areas, how they make alcohol, the local brew, they dig a hole to avoid the water from entering. Those channels act as diversion channels. We have factors affecting the quality of hay. What affects? Last time we talked about the type of the crop, the stage of flowering, what were those things. Now here, let's look at also some factors which will affect the quality of silage, the type of grass and legume species enslaved, the one which has been put inside the silo, the cavera, the stage of growth of the species enslaved. Which stage is it, after flowering or before flowering? The speed of enslaving. You take long to enslave it and you allow air from entering inside. So when you prevent air from entering inside, it is good. And then the type and amount of additive used. Have you molasses and urea? How much quantity have you put inside? Because these ones help to appetize the animals. Consolidation to exclude air from the ends layer or from the ensilage or the silo. How have you compressed? Have you compressed it properly to exclude the air? The moisture content of the material inside, how much water is found inside the material put inside? Is it too wet or is it average? All that should be put into consideration to make sure that the quality of silage is unique, is on point. So let's look at this last point, which says the degree to which the temperatures rise during enslaving. When it is already inside the silo, are temperatures increasing or dropping? When they are dropping, you have to add in molasses. When they increase, you have to add water, little water to reduce the temperatures, to avoid the hibernate, to avoid the heating up. So reasons for making silage. Why should we make silage? Why don't we just allow our animals to go and eat grass from the bush there and come back? Number one, for getting money. People are selling silage to get money because it's a source of income, especially in dry season. To increase total amount of herbage produced by unit area, to increase to supplement what is already present on the farm. So to get feeds for use during periods of forage scarcity. When there's no grass, you are able to use this forage. You can use hay, you can use silage to feed your animal. And then the other is to conserve forage in succulent form. Succulent form, a form which is in its right order. That is the value for that. And then also to avoid wastage in periods of planting and abundance, you could use the remainings of certain crops. So when you get such, if for example maize does not mature due to other factors, maybe a disease, you could easily cut it off before flowering and use it for making hay. So you have stopped wastage of such materials. And then the other point is to increase the number of livestock that can be kept per unit area. If you have much to feed these animals, it simply means that your farm can multiply continuously. Because you are feeding them on hay, you don't have scarcity of food on your farm, etc. And then the other, it enables animals to eat plant materials that they would not eat when fresh. There are some materials or nutritive pastures which some animals don't feed on when they are fresh. They want them in a fermented form. So it helps them to use such pasture. So we have advantages of silage. Advantage number one, it increases the animal's appetite since they are very palatable, and so increases the animal's intake. Animals eat a lot because they have the molasses which increase their appetite. It is easier to store than some quantity of hay since it requires less space. It is easier to store silage compared to hay. Hay needs a very big piece of land because there are bales of grass. Thus, losses incurred during ensiling or when they are putting inside the silo, that cavera, they are less than those incurred in making hay. There are many losses found when they are making hay, when you are chop up some parts, when you are transporting. So all those damages and losses affect the quality of silage. Many species that the animal cannot eat in fresh form can be eaten in silage form. So that is a bit of that. Under proper storage, silage can stay for several years without getting spoiled or without losing quality. So that is the value of silage. It can provide you silage for a long period of time. And then the other is because of the materials retain succulence, fire outbreaks during storage are avoided. Unlike in hay, hay can easily catch fire because it is dry grass. So it is very good to use the silage. There is increased efficiency of feed use since the animal rejects very little of the food. The animal uses increased efficiency. They utilize the food properly into its bodies. So that is the beauty of that. Since they eat when the feeds provide them appetite. But also this silage is associated with some challenges or problems. Some nutrients are lost due to seepage in the process of silage. When they are processing silage, some nutrients can be lost into the soil or can be lost into the silo, which is a loss to the farmer. It is more laborious. It requires many people to do it. You look at this process, putting inside the silo. From putting the silo, you have to put in molasses, you have to monitor temperature. So it is laborious. It requires many people and time. The plant materials are difficult to compact effectively, and some rotting is inevitable. This silage can easily rot if they are not compressed properly. It is expensive in terms of preservatives used. You have to buy these molasses, the urea, that is a cost. It requires large quantities of materials for it to be economical. It requires large quantities of materials for it to be economical. Okay, you have to have very many pieces of hay. And then the last one says properly fermented silage has a bad smell. Okay. Poorly fermented silage has a bad smell that may be introduced to the animal products such as the milk. When the animal feeds on the silage which is poorly fermented, it will smell, and the milk will lose market. Milk will lose market. So then forage utilization. Forage can be used in different ways. We have continuous grazing, we have rotational grazing, zero grazing, deferred grazing, strip grazing. We shall start from here next time when we meet, when we go into detail, different ways of utilizing these methods, utilizing this pasture. We may stop here for today, and we shall start from there next time. Have a blessed day.